G'day everyone and welcome back to another episode of the F123 My Team Career Mode, and as you can see for the Imola Grand Prix, it's going to be a fully wet race. So yeah, and I've had the AI too low recently, so I decided to turn up to 92. I would have gone 95, but then I was like, well, it's about to chuck it down in the race. So let's not go 95 and be like 6 seconds a lap slower, please. And we've also got to fit new components. However, no penalty for this action because we're doing it before even the practice sessions. But let's get straight into qualifying, because the game no longer actually shows you how many points you get from your practice sessions, which is what I used to like clip and stuff. But oh well, it is what it is. But as you can see, we're into our first lap in Q1. We need a pretty decent banker lap, is what I'm gonna say. However, it's not the end of the world. This track is a very, very okay track for me. I actually like this track. I'd say it's up there, like top 10, but there's only like 24 tracks on the game, so it's not really saying much, is it? But I do like Imola. Yeah, this lap, it's not going to be great, is it? Because let's be realistic, it's my first lap on this circuit with this car, so I don't expect anything at all. But yeah, that's all I really need to say. But here we are coming towards the end of our banker lap. There will be a lot of exceeding track limits in these quali laps, but I'm pretty sure in the one lap, my best lap, there wasn't any, I'm pretty sure. I'm not 100% sure though. But here we are, up to the line. We set a 117.4. So that's not too great. A 117.4 is not ideal. But we're going to go on for another lap, back to back. First corner here, look at that, we're taking that a little bit better, carrying a bit more momentum, coming to that left-hander, and we gain 1.5 tenths, coming to the second left-right chicane. This one, we take more curb on the second one, we gain quite a bit more time. On the exit here, we brake a bit later, get the power down a bit later. We are now 3 tenths up in the first sector. Let's see if we can maintain this throughout the rest of the lap. We take this corner kind of cautiously, don't really lose any time. We lose a bit of time throughout the rest of the lap though. And coming through here, we lose even more time. However, luckily we get a better exit than we did on the previous lap, and we're able to end up making up around about 2.5 tenths. We could have made, I'd say, around about 4 tenths up on that lap, but it is what it is. And here we are on a fresh set of rubber to try get into Q2. We should be safe. However, I'm not going to leave anything to chance here, because if I was to just simulate the session while sat in the garage, there'd be a load of glitch times and I'd be like P22. So we don't want that, but we're going to go on a fresh set of tyres. We're going to just get a bit more warmed up to the circuit. We take that first chicane very, very nicely, may I say. We're already 4 tenths up. Very, very nice for that first sector. Look at this. This is like a lot better of a lap. We've not even exceeded track limits, you know. But that was very good. And coming towards the end of the lap now, we have 6 tenths in our hand up on our previous lap. We should be through to Q2 as long as we don't bottle it on this final corner. We do lose a little bit of time though, and it's only going to end up being a 5/10 improvement. Could have been about 7, but it is what it is. I think we end up setting like a 16.4, 16.4, pretty sure. It's a 16.9, bloody hell, that was a bit poor for me. But yeah, 16.9 is what we end up setting. 7 tenths off P1. We end up getting P10 for Q1. So into Q2 we go, our first lap being set on a worn set of soft tyres that we use at the end of Q1. And let's see what we can do. This is purely just a banker lap, but it's not too bad of a banker lap on worn tyres, to be fair. Let's see what we can do. Coming in, we have 2 green sectors, obviously, because we haven't set a lap time yet. I think, do we exceed track limits here? Yes, we do. But it's only a banker lap on a worn set of softs. It's not going to be my best lap time of the session. Therefore, I really couldn't care less about exceeding track limits on a lap that really doesn't matter too much, other than seeing where we are on the worn tyres. But if you're doing really well on your fresh tyre runs compared to the AI, but really bad on your worn tyre runs compared to the AI, it just shows how bad your tyre wear is, which is normally the case for us, as we're 1.4 seconds off pole with a 17.5. So, yeah, as you can see, we've been doing the record what happened on Xbox, so you're literally going to see the full lap here in Q2. Now, we need a very good lap here. We're currently down in P14 or 15. I think we're only ahead of Oscar Piastri. So we're going to need a very good lap here to get into Q3, sorry. By the way, Last F1 game, the highest I ever went on my AI for a career mode was 95. I feel like I could go to 95 already. So, I feel like we're getting there already with this game. I'm loving this game. It's a lot of fun. You know, sometimes it can be frustrating, but I actually think it's alright. I'm enjoying it. But here we are, into our lap for trying to get into Q3. We need this lap. Unlike last session, we need this lap if we're going to get into Q3. And we're already making a statement. There's thunder outside, because this lap is about to be lightning. So here we go. Coming through this sector here. Look at that. 4.5 improvement. It's just started raining as well. Literally, as the thunder started, it's just started raining. And we are 0.8 up on our previous lap time. I genuinely didn't make that happen as well. That was just a glitch in the recording footage, by the way. Here we are. We're almost a second up coming into the chicane. Yep, we are a second up coming into the chicane. How much time we're going to gain here? We're currently 1.5 tenths. Let's see what we can get to. We get 1.2. Because we didn't exceed track limits in that lap, whereas the lap before we did, which is why we gained more time on that previous lap through that chicane. We were still faster through the chicane, but we didn't exceed track limits because we had the extra grip. But here, we make a little bit of a hash to the final corner, however, we get a really nice exit. It's going to be 1.3 seconds of improvement. We're going to set a 1:16.2, and we're going to get ourselves P8 in the session and through to Q3. However, look at these times. We set a 1:16.2, 1.8 tenths. 1.8 tenths off pole position. But we are through to Q3. We beat Sergio Perez in the Red Bull. But yeah, here we are now. We're about to set our banker lap on the set of tyres. We just set a 1:16.2 on in Q2 to get through to Q3. So yeah, first lap of Q3 on those warm tyres. Let's see what we can do. Again, you're going to see the full lap. No flashbacks or anything. We have a full lap here from the garage. So yeah, I always do flying lap. I don't like driving out. It's just a bit boring for me. So yeah, here we go. On to our lap. Let's see if we can get a good exit. And now, yeah, this is only the warm tyre set. We don't record the full second Q3 lap. Don't know why, but this lap was a lot cleaner for me. I like this lap a lot more. However, new tyres, more time kind of thing. But yeah. Here we are into turn 1. Let's see how nicely we can take turn 1. This left-right chicane was always an issue on the last game, but we take it very, very nicely through there. And again, just clipping that little inside curve on the left-hander. Another left-right chicane here. We take a lot on the inside instead of the outside this time. So, I don't know how that would be compared to that one lap where we did the opposite. I feel like we would have lost a bit of time, but maybe we would have got a better exit. We take the hairpin very nicely. That was always a struggle in the last game as well. You had to wait so long for the traction. Coming through here as well, very careful. I just wanted to stay in track limits on this lap. I was like, let's just make this as clean as lap as possible. So let's see what we can do through here. It's very nicely taken through here, carrying that momentum, getting on the power nice and early. No spins, no issues. Coming into this chicane now as well. Probably a little bit of track limits exceeded. I think we do exceed track limits there as well, yes, but it's not the main lap, so we don't need to worry too much. Maybe a 10th gain there from the exceeding of track limits, but it is what it is. We've lost time elsewhere. So here we are through the final corner. This has been a very, very clean lap, like a very satisfactory lap on warm tyres. It's going to be a 1:16.3, which is a 10th slower than what we did when these tyres were fresh, showing just how good that lap was. However, we are 8 tenths away from pole position, so it's not been great. Coming here into the chicane, again, we exceeded track limits on the previous lap. We're going to do it again. However, we lost time because we didn't go as wide. We are currently 2 tenths up on this lap, on the fresh tyres as well, by the way. So we've not actually gained too much lap time, which is a surprise considering we had these new tyres on. It just shows how clean that last lap was. But we end up coming up to line. We're going to end up gaining 3 tenths, which means we are going to set a 1:16 flat, which is going to get us from P6 to P5. I don't know what happened to everyone else, but everyone else just decided, you know what, let's just not improve on our previous lap times from previous sessions. Oh well, I mean, I guess I'll take that, but, you know, we end up getting P5. I think we should have been about P8 in that session, even with those good lap times, but, you know, yeah. Different day, just a reminder, it's going to be a wet race, so here we are.
Well, today's venue has a full name that is perhaps lesser known than its informal one. So today we're at Imola, or to give it its official title, the Autodromo Internazionale Enzo Edino Ferrari, named after their legacy. A beautiful tribute at a beautiful circuit. It's time, everyone, for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Unlike most Formula One tracks, Imola is driven anti-clockwise and offers our drivers today just over 3 miles of glistening wet tarmac to negotiate. It's made up of a roughly equal split of 9 right-hand turns and 10 left-hand. Watch the drivers on the way into turn 16. Managing their speed there will be crucial, with the rain only adding to the difficulty of that downhill braking section, which then, of course, leads into the track's longest straight, though no DRS there today, of course. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. It's Carlos Sainz in pole position, with Charles Leclerc alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Perez, Russell, Iceman, Fernando Alonso, Hamilton, Verstappen, Ocon, Norris, Gasly, Joe, Stroll, Bottas, Oscar Piastri, Albon, Sonoda, Sargent, De Vries, Theo Pourchaire, Magnussen, and Nico Hülkenberg rounds off the grid. With preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track. Well, it's not going to be plain sailing for our drivers today, although with the sky falling as it is.
Right then, guys, here we are. We're going to do probably a one-stop inters to inters. We're going to underfuel the car because we are in wet conditions by about a lap. We could probably underfuel a little bit more, but it doesn't matter too much. We're just going to leave the setup the same, tyre pressure's the same. So let's get into this formation lap before the Emilia-Romagna or Imola GP, or whatever they said, the Autodroma something Ferrari. I don't know. But here we are. We've obviously cleared the rest of the grid for the formation lap just to make sure we can take our time and get a decent score. But we're going to go in at an angle. We're going to try to keep it straight, which means no matter how close we get to this thing, we're only going to get green. We literally get to about 1.3 meters, still only green because we've gone at such a big angle. But it is what it is. We're not going to mind too much, and we're going to hope for a very good start. My aim for today's race is to finish within the top 8, because I feel like we'll be able to defend this track well. Because, you know, we've got a dry setup on with very good straight line speed. We've got decent knowledge of the track. There's no DRS for the other drivers. And we've got the best engine on the grid. And new components. We should have the straight line speed to hold back any car we want. So as long as we don't lose many places off the start, I feel like we could hold position for the rest of the race. And probably just chill, I'd say. But here we are. All the drivers are about to line up on the grid for a wet Imola GP. I'm very excited for this. Here we are, lights out, and away we go for the Imola GP in intermediate conditions. Everyone gets a better start than us, but on the second drive phase, we're able to get ERS on quite early. We're going to go round the outside of George Russell into turn 1 if we can. Ferraris are free wide with Sergio Perez. Oh my word, we've almost got off the track there. We almost get Carlos Sainz, but we can't quite get him. But we have got George Russell, who's under pressure now from Max Verstappen. Oh my, okay, I'm going to be completely real with you. I was just defending for the next 8 laps. However, because my straight line speed was so good, this was the first time I was side by side with a car all race. It took 8 laps for the AI to get side by side with me, and it was because of a couple of corners and mistakes. What? My straight line speed is ridiculous on this. Like, I don't get it. I really don't get it. Maybe that's why I finished so high in qualifying, but going with the straight line speed in the wet has really helped me because the car turned in a lot better than last year. So I feel like I can just run low wings and get away with it in the wets. So it's not too shabby. Again, we run right at that corner. But now we have Max Verstappen behind us. So somewhere along the road, Verstappen overtook George Russell. So don't ask me where that happened. I won't be able to tell you because my memory's absolutely shocking. But here we are now. Ooh, he's gone a bit wide. He has gone a bit wide, to be fair. It's pretty poor. But here we are, up to the line. And are we going to be coming under pressure from Verstappen or Russell? No, they're going to be overtaking each other. Like, literally, they'd get a bit closer. Okay, a bit of ERS, and we clear them by another 10th. It's ridiculous. And we actually take this first little sequence quite nicely. So I was like, you know what, let's just include that as well. Moving now on to lap 12. We are going to box. Some drivers have already boxed. Some will box. But our tyre wear's not good enough. We're not going to make it to the end of this race. And if we do, we're literally going to have a puncture, basically. So we need to box, otherwise we are screwed. We only get a good turn in. I still haven't mastered that. I still get too nervous by that thing coming in. It makes me think I'm going to run out of time and get a late turn in, but, you know, it is what it is. Let's see what we can do now with the intermediate conditions. I was expecting other drivers to box because some had already boxed, including the Ferraris. I was like, well, surely the rest of the grid's going to box then, no? Well, you'll see in a few laps' time that just isn't the case, as we're on to, like, we get to, like, lap 16 and nobody else boxes. Literally no one else boxes. We are in a lot of trouble now because, you know, we've got a lot of cars ahead of us. We've got 7 cars between us and a point. We need to overtake 7 cars in 8 laps. And yes, we are like 2 seconds a lap quicker on the fresh inters, but that's eventually going to wear off and we're going to have the same pace. We're going to be in a lot of trouble in this GP. We could have thrown away points in this race. We are going to be in a lot of trouble here. The only saving grace I have now is a safety car, really. I don't know though. Because if, like, let's say a red flag came out, then what would you do? Because if a red flag comes out, then everyone gets fresh tyres, and I'm going to be like P17. Oh, great, brilliant. So now I've got to overtake everyone on fresh intermediates instead of worn intermediates. I'd rather there just be a safety car, because if a red flag comes out, we do not get track position as we send it down the inside of Nick De Vries. By the way, in the F1 intro, the commentator goes, De Vries! And he says it so happily. Nick De Vries is shocking. Right, he's been shocking this season as we now make a switch to the inside on Teo Porcher. I'm not going to lie to you, he'd been holding me up, and I just killed Logan Sargent as well. But in my defence, I did not get damage, he didn't get damage. They're slower, I'm quicker, I don't care. It's my career mode, lads. So it is what it is. On to lap 17 now. This is for P13. We have Alex Albon just up the road as well. And we have a couple of McLarens. And then we have a big train of cars until about P7. So maybe there's still a chance we get P7 in this Grand Prix. Because, you know, we've made up about 7 seconds. And, you know, the cars ahead are all battling. You never know. There is still a chance of some decent points here. As there is a yellow flag up ahead and a big pile up. But we're going to overtake Tsunoda just before this yellow flag sector. Lance Stroll's rounding as a red flag. And we go into the back of Albon, but that's not going to be an issue because it just negates all damage. Now everyone is on fresh intermediate tyres. We start P13 on the grid. And we're muscling our way through off the start past Lance Stroll and Alex Albon. We're going to go down the inside of Piastri, Sainz and Ocon. We are now into P8. We're fighting Ocon on the exit. We're going off the track. We're cutting corners. We don't care. We have been screwed over in this race. The whole grid now is on fresh intermediate tyres. I've got to do my best now to overtake them. As we now just give Norris a little love tap. I don't get any damage. He just moves out of the way for me. Don't know what he's doing. We'll take that. We're now up into P6 in this Grand Prix. As we also overtook Fernando Alonso. I can't actually remember where that was. But there's a yellow flag up ahead. And it looks like from the lead of the race, Max Verstappen is retiring due to a mechanical failure. This would have been the perfect start to the season for Max Verstappen, but he's out of the Grand Prix with mechanical issues. Oh my, oh my. It's poor from him. But as we move now onto the last lap of the Grand Prix, we're under pressure from Fernando Alonso. He's the only one that could take this P5 off us. We've had 2 P7s in I think it's actually 3 P7s in a row so far this season, and despite making an extra pit stop and there being a red flag which should have screwed us over, we get P5 in the wet Imola GP, our best result of the season in intermediate conditions. Let's bloody have it, boys. We will absolutely take that. I don't know who our fight is with this season. I'd say it's with Lando Norris, Lance Stroll, maybe Alonso potentially, but right now, boys, as the AI is going to keep going up, we don't know who we're battling. Eventually, I'll move it to 90. I'll probably move it to 95 AI soon, and then it will be like an establishment of who we should be battling from this point on. Because I think the next GP is Spain, and I've not raced Spain on this game, and I've never liked Spain in an F1 game before. So maybe this year, with the new handling model and the new track layout, is the year we like Spain. So maybe Spain won't be paying for the first time ever. But the AI is also really overpowered at Spain, which is another thing. But a double Mercedes podium there, and Perez winning the Grand Prix because of Max Verstappen's DNF. So it swings and roundabouts if you're a Red Bull fan. For Mercedes fans, though, that was a pretty good result. So yeah, we had a very good race. We had a brilliant qualifying performance. Our race performance was okay. We did well holding them up. We had to make an extra stop that the AI didn't. It would have been interesting to see how that would have played out without the red flag, because I think I still could have got through to like P7, P6 with their bad tyre wear, and maybe they would have pit late and I would have got like P4, P5. But we will take the P5 after the red flag with the aggressive moves towards the end. And you know what? It's a pretty successful episode, boys, of the My Team. We're going to have a look at the constructors' standings and drivers' standings and stuff. And then we will do the outro, because in the drivers' standings, we are currently P8. We are 7 points off Fernando Alonso. We are ahead of Lando Norris and Ocon. And Alex Albon as well is quite high up. And then in the constructors, we're fighting McLaren, it looks like. Because I feel like Aston Martin will be too far out of reach with 2 point scoring cars compared to Iceberg's iRacing, which is literally just me scoring points. Because Porsche had a very poor weekend. Stuck behind Logan Sargent in a Williams. Qualifies P19 in what isn't actually that bad of a car for this circuit. So, it's just poor. Just a poor performance from Porsche. But yeah, hopefully he can improve next time out, or else we'd have to look to replace him mid-season, which I don't know if I want to waste the money on, to be fair, considering, you know, if we can like cover McLaren off by the end of the season, or by halfway through the season and have a decent gap to them, I'll just keep Porsche. But if we need a second driver that can score some points, I'll have to spend the money on it. But we need development more than anything for the future, so we'll have to see what comes there. But thank you guys for watching if you've made it through this far. That is going to be it for this video. We'll see the developments before the Spanish Grand Prix come in, before that episode's race. So for now, this is literally all I've got to do. We're going to choose our rival. It's going to be Ocon instead of Sainz, not going to lie. Easier rival. But yeah, that's it. Cheers for watching. Have a good rest of your weekend, guys. Don't know when this is going to be uploaded, but it's being edited on Saturday morning. So, yeah, you'll be able to tell how bad my memory is.